From pulling U.S. troops out of Iraq, to stopping Iran from making nuclear weapons, to closing down the Guantanamo Bay detention facility, Barack Obama is promising a new direction in American foreign policy.
I want a fundamental change. It's time to turn the page on how we do business and say to the world, we are ready to lead. We are ready to lead by deed and example.
His views reflect some of the foreign policy positions of previous American presidents, particularly those of the Democratic Party. Harry Truman, John Kennedy, and others stress that the promotion of democracy and human rights cannot be separated from the struggle against poverty and despair. Peter Beinart is a U.S. foreign policy expert at the Council on Foreign Relations.
There's more of a sense in Obama of echoing back to Woodrow Wilson, I think, of the idea that we are in a world of common threats. Things like global warming, public health threats, economic instability threaten us as well as other nations, so that they have to be dealt with through cooperation.
On Iraq, Obama has promised a phased withdrawal of U.S. troops, removing all combat brigades within 16 months. On Iran's nuclear ambitions, he made this pledge in a speech recently to the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC.
I will do everything in my power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Everything in my power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Everything.
His strong words were aimed at countering Republican rival John McCain, who has denounced Obama as naive and inexperienced in foreign policy matters. Obama's stated willingness to meet with foreign adversaries, such as Iran's president, has been ridiculed repeatedly by McCain.
Americans ought to be concerned about the judgment of a presidential candidate who says he's ready to talk in person and without conditions with tyrants from Havana to Pyongyang.
Obama has dismissed such criticism, saying previous presidents, including Republican Ronald Reagan, met with America's enemies. Yet foreign policy expert Hella Dale at the conservative-leaning Heritage Foundation says Obama is vulnerable on the experience issue.
He's only not even a one-term senator. He has not been exposed to a lot of foreign policy issues. And his statements suggest that he is someone who does not really understand how international politics work, as you do if you follow it for many years.
But Obama counters by saying his background, his mixed racial heritage, and having spent part of his youth in Indonesia will give him a unique perspective in the conduct of foreign affairs. Peter Beinart says this would make him unlike previous presidents whose overseas ties were primarily in Europe.
The fact that he's lived in Indonesia, which is a Muslim country, but also that he himself has roots outside the United States and that he has roots in the third world, I think will be a powerful thing for people around the world. Now, at the end of the day, and that will impact their leaders. Now, at the end of the day, America will still have certain interests that put it at odds with other countries. That's not going to go away.
Yet the intense interest in Obama and the presidential campaign overseas may be due in part to his unique background and his promise to turn the page in U.S. foreign policy. Bill Rodgers, VOA News.